No, why did you turn off? I've had the Samsung Ark monitor for about a month now, and I thoroughly don't enjoy every single time I have to actually use this thing. This is my review of the Samsung Ark monitor, again, after a month of use, and I can firmly say, without a doubt, do not buy this thing. The allure of unboxing it, getting it set up, experiencing a 55-inch monitor that can go both in landscape mode as well as portrait is neat and all. It's really cool. The mini LED setup with the really high brightness on the 1000 nits looks fantastic. Everything about the panel is immaculate. But the actual day-to-day usable experience of this bad boy is frustrating. It is so unmanageable, unwieldy. Samsung did not think this thing through at all, and it just makes it so that I am constantly avoiding coming over to this set and using this monitor because of how difficult it is to use. And it just keeps turning off because it's not on the right setting. Thanks, Samsung. That's also part of the problem. So there's a lot of things that people brought up in their reviews of it, other YouTubers who actually had this sent to them by Samsung. One of the main complaints is this box right here has, I don't know, 4 HDMI inputs, but there is no way to do multi-view that allows you to actually use all 4 HDMIs at the same time, or even 2 HDMIs at the same time. The multi-view experience only really allows you to use 1 HDMI, the software, and you could potentially get a second PC in by doing a wireless display. It's possible to do that. However, for the fact that this is technically a television, at $3,500, it's the size of one and it doesn't support picture-in-picture with HDMI is a huge miss. But that was kind of a complaint that everybody brought up. One of the things that I have to talk about is the fact that this is just a bad experience overall. The box not supporting 2 HDMI inputs at the same time, which even months after launch hasn't been patched through any sort of firmware update, is kind of an indication of how much thought, effort, and trying Samsung is actually putting into what is considered a Halo product. $3,500. You're getting a monitor and a TV that works worse than just getting both of them separately. I would much rather have a 55-inch TV and a 55-inch monitor than continue to use this dang thing. So I recorded earlier a rant that I was going on because I was trying to actually get a PlayStation 5 set up on here. So go to past Brett and hear him out on just like the in-the-moment frustrations I was having with this. This is what really bugs me about the Samsung Ark monitor. So I have the remote for the actual TV monitor, whatever you want to call it, right? But if you look at this remote, where's the source input? How do I switch sources, HDMI sources? Oh, that's right, I can't do that using this remote. I have to use this little guy. Okay, that's great. So I go to switch sources on this guy, but guess what? I just plugged in a PlayStation and it doesn't register. What do I have down here? I've got Samsung TV Plus, PC, I don't even know what that is, USB mobile camera, TV access, all right? I can't actually get to everything using one device. I have to use both of these in order to control this TV, and even then, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's go back to try to switch that on over to PC, even though this is a PlayStation 5. Is that the correct option? Is it actually gonna switch over? I have no idea. Do you see how long this is taking? We're not cutting this. This is atrocious for $3,500. It's not even the right thing. It says turn on the device connected to HDMI 1. The PlayStation's on right now. It's not actually working. I can't even with the box get my device to work, okay? But now let's say I want to switch back to YouTube. I have this little guy that I had to bust out to switch for the HDMIs. How do I get back to YouTube? Let's see, do I press this button? Nope. What about this guy? I could go to multi-view, I could go to the game bar, I can move the screen, or I could go to settings. Okay, great. If I go to switch, do I get the options here? Nope, don't get the options to use it as a smart TV. Have to go up to connected to multi-view. I could add it as a second screen, but I can't go full screen on it using this. If I want to get over there, I have to bust out the remote. I have to press the home button. And then I have to navigate through all of this to find where does it actually have YouTube, because you have the game menu, which allows you to do things like Xbox, Luna, Stadia, RIP, and GeForce Now. That's all there. But How do I get to my HDMI setup? Oh, I have to go over the media. Is that over here? Recent PC, is this the right thing? No, that's the exact same thing that's not working. So I have to use 2 different remotes to get the full experience out of this, and even then, it's a crapshoot whether or not it's gonna work because of the way this smart box has to interact with the HDMI. You have to set it up properly the first time and make sure that it's all there, and it does have some like quick buttons to getting to Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney Plus, but not things like YouTube or otherwise. I am frustrated every single moment I have to use this monitor. It is ridiculous. Like, not even a TV is this bad. If I go over to my LG TV or heck, even a Samsung TV, the ability to switch between HDMI inputs is a button. It's a 1 button. That's not on this remote. I have to bust out the dial to be able to do that. And even then, it doesn't label it by HDMI. It labels it by what the smart box called it. So it's just a completely horrible experience. I am sitting here trying to figure out how do I get my PlayStation 5 to display, and it is not simple. I would much rather use a TV. I would much rather get a dedicated gaming monitor. The fact that Samsung tried to fuse the 2 together with this is just atrocious. It's bad. It's abominable. It shouldn't exist. The fact that this was $3,500 is insane to me because the software is so garbage. I still don't know how to get to the PlayStation. Kyler, you want to tell me? Yeah, I would think that this is the button to do it, but that's just the multi-view button. That's just the multi-view button. That's the settings button. There's no button on here to get to what I want. My PlayStation's on. How do I get to my PlayStation? I don't want to watch TV. It is 11:48 a.m. I want to see how long it takes me to get to my PlayStation. Because I'm a pretty tech savvy guy. I typically know how to make things work. I'm baffled at how to get this to work. I need to go find how to get the HDMI input to work. I think it's on media, and then I would expect the HDMI input's gone. See, that's why I'm struggling. There's no HDMI input here. My PlayStation is on. The white light's on. I can't turn it on anymore. If I go over here, it's telling me to turn on. Okay, let's go to connection guide. How do I get this to work? HDMI troubleshooting. There's no audio device on the HDMI. Yeah, I'm not using the Ark port. Do I need to plug in a different HDMI cable? Is that the problem? Okay, I'll plug in a different HDMI cable. Let's see. The cable that was plugged into HDMI 1. Oh, okay, so now HDMI 2 just works. This is fantastic, okay? See, this is part of the problem. It's detecting the device. It's interfacing with the box, and the box is trying to be all smart-like. But if it can't detect it as the object that was initially there, why didn't it just boot into the place? It switched on over to the gaming hub instead of going to my HDMI device. This is just not how you do software. It made it seem like it was going over, and then it chose not to. So now, 2 minutes later, 2 minutes after an HDMI swap that frankly was unnecessary, I'm now on the PlayStation 5. This is going back. This is a bad experience. Are you frustrated just watching?
I'm uncomfortable.
It's uncomfy. I don't know what's going on. Every time I boot up this television, I'm not sure whether or not I'm gonna be able to figure out if I can do what I need to do. And I have to use 2 different remotes. You can't just use one. You have to have both. So this is the television remote. But you can't use the television features with this guy. This guy seems like it communicates with the actual display. This guy communicates with the box. It's dumb. It's all dumb. It's just unpleasant to use. It's not intuitive. It doesn't make any sense. The box, not good. Doesn't support DisplayPort. Overall, as a monitor, lacking features. Overall, as a television, lacking features. Fused together to create one unique experience that is meant to just drain people of their wallets. Samsung makes some good products. Samsung televisions aren't bad. Samsung's Neo G9 monitors are actually phenomenal. What is this abomination? Samsung, I trusted you. I cannot, in any good faith, endorse this product. Nobody buy this unless you really want to be frustrated. You really want to have to go through the hassle of using 2 different inputs whenever you actually want to do something simple, in case you actually want to learn the unintuitive nature of this thing, because you can figure it out. It's not that there's not a way to do things on this. It's just that it doesn't make sense. You don't have the options on both of these things. You have to figure it out separately. Samsung, This is inexcusable for a $3,500 product.
Moments later.
I didn't think it was possible, but this monitor is salting my onions even more because I was like, okay, let me use it one last time before we send it back because I just need to get some work done on this PC, doing some overclocking testing. And this is the worst computer monitor ever because look at this, okay? I'm having issues with booting into my BIOS because I'm messing around with memory settings, so it's taken a little while for things to get configured. I'm a Ryzen 7000, things take a few seconds. This goes into standby mode automatically while you're trying to configure stuff if it doesn't detect an HDMI signal, which means that as I'm trying to work with this PC, shut it down, get it rebooted, trying to get some sort of signal to output, this monitor is constantly shutting off. And I've looked in the menus to find a way to turn standby mode off, and if it's in there, it's buried deep. I found ways to turn off the power settings for sleep, but not a way to turn off standby mode. So this monitor is gonna turn off before I'm even able to actually get into the BIOS on this computer as I'm working to like shut it down, reboot it. I have to constantly be looking at the monitor to figure out, oh, is this on? Did it power down? Because I can't keep this up while I'm also working on the PC. Just garbage. Like I can't use it as a monitor either. It's gone. Now I have to turn it back on, turned on the PC. Okay, great. Now I friggin' have to turn this on as this is, and it's not even gonna work because I have to do a few things with the memory in order to get it to work. But as I'm trying to figure out, oh, is the computer working? Is that why it's not displaying out? Is it broken? Or is it the fact that the TV monitor turned itself off again? Just every time I use this, I get more frustrated. There's something new that bothers me every time. Thanks, Samsung.